And good morning, Hoosier fans, and welcome to another edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After North Alabama. Your Indiana Hoosiers go on to win yesterday afternoon in the coveted 12 o'clock Sunday game, a game that all basketball teams are clamoring to play. Yeah, not really. 87-52. A game that really, obviously the big storyline is the tale of two halves, as you hear often being said. Something that remains consistent for this team, something that we're going to be able to hang our hat on, obviously, and be able to continue on through the future, which is defense. Something Archie's been preaching and been excited for, getting a team that could run the defense like he wants to, and obviously this team has become that. They've got very good defensive outings. You've had your gripes throughout the season so far in the Texas and other games, but defense has been the one thing, obviously, that has stayed consistent and looked pretty good. Not without its errors, not without its mistakes, but it's been the one constant and something that this team will use to win a lot of games. We obviously didn't start the greatest with a team that offensively just looked flat. Granted, this is our last easy game of the season, our last game that we know we can come out and figure out some things, get some things done. Sorry, that's my computer firing up and everything. Obviously, since Google's been struggling today, computer's going crazy now that Google's back up. Team that struggled at the beginning, and North Alabama is the last team that we're going to have on our schedule that allows us to figure some things out. And when you're going into a game like this as a player, even if you're going to get as mentally ready as you can be, you're going to be a little bit on cruise control to some respects. It's hard to get up and fight in a game that you already know you're supposed to win. No matter what a coach does, no matter what they say, teams are going to come out a little flat. It was really flat on the offensive side. Luckily, still looked strong and aggressive on the defensive side. Trace Jackson-Davis playing well at the beginning, forcing the issue underneath, getting to the foul line a couple times. Looked like it was going to end up being a slow game as well, with a lot of fouls being called to begin the game. And Hoosiers struggled a little bit from the line to start, only making 54% in the first half, 12 of 22, and then getting to the line a little bit less in the second half, 6 for 9. I think that had to do a lot with the ball moved a little bit more. We weren't really trying to cram it in there when they really gave us the zone look, which was nice to see. I enjoyed the fact that North Alabama played the zone for so long, because that allowed us to get more minutes and looks at the zone, because that could be something that could be coming towards us quite a bit, for teams to be able to double down on Trace Jackson a lot easier in the zone rather than playing a man where we can clear everyone out and run screen plays and everything for him. The zone packs it in there a lot more and kind of forces teams to shoot from the outside. And that kind of transitions well into the second half. Second half, we finally got going. Towards the end of the first half, you saw when we were dealing with that zone, a lot of passing on the perimeter, a lot of guys standing up on the three-point line, just passing it around. And that's easy for the opposing team, especially when you're playing the zone. You just keep sliding. Nothing to do, nothing hard to have to defend against, because no one's trying to drive through, no real passes, entry passes going to the free throw line or anything. Just we were passing it a lot from our guards on the outside. So guards started to lack in that sense in the end of the first half. And then Archie said something to him, obviously, at halftime that got them motivated. And the second half was a very different story, with Indiana doing little drive and kicks, getting it to the free throw, whether that been with Jerome Hunter or you saw a lot of that with Race there checking to the elbow. Even Jerome had a few moments of that and Jordan Geronimo got a few chances to do that, which led to good-looking shots and shots in rhythm from three, which is the great story of what we wanted to see. And indeed, as well, something that I posted going into this game was that shooting confidence was something that we needed to gain. We need to use this to run sets and get confidence from guys shooting on the outside. We know that we can dominate down below. We can run plays, we can pick and roll, we can get it to Trace Jackson or Race, and we can get our points there in the paint. But what we needed to do in this game was build the confidence of the guys shooting in the outside. Find them in rhythm, drive and kick, passes moving around through the screens, and that's what we did. And Armand was able to hit a lot of shots. So was a few other guys were able to get warm. Rob ended up being 2 for 6 from three. Armand, an amazing and impressive 5 for 7. I think he was 5 for 5 in the second half. There was nearly a point in the second half, I believe. I didn't save the tweet, but someone tweeted out a little bit before he went out where he was, I believe, perfect. I think 7 for 7 on his field goals or something like that, and 5 for 5 on his threes. Maybe he had a 3 in the first half, but just a really great game for him. If he can continue to hit that outside shot like that and in rhythm, and then the way he's able to drive and pull up or drive and pass, he's proving to be an amazing piece to this team. And one that we saw last year in flashes, obviously Banker's Life being his best game, and we've got that coming up, hopefully, knock on wood, I'll talk about that soon, this coming weekend against Butler. But he is proving to be a very strong player, and I put a lot of that on last year. He got a lot of experience as a freshman. We were struggling with who was going to handle the ball. And Rob had his injuries and his troubles last year, and Armand stepped in and did a lot of running the offense and got a lot of minutes, baptism by fire for him last year. And that time is proving very valuable for the Hoosiers this year, because he is a great piece to play at the three and allows Indiana to play with three guys. They can handle the ball, they can bring the ball up, and not lose. A lot of times that three position is going to be more of a driver. He's not going to be more of an initiator or someone that's going to bring the ball up. But to be able to have Franklin, someone that can do that if we need to in transition, get going and everything, is fantastic. And then you can sprinkle that in with Al, Rob, or Christian, and guards look a little bit better in that sense. I think, obviously, guard play has been the struggle this year so far, getting some consistency out of them. I think defensively, they've been very consistent because they've been able to shut down the opposing team's players. I mean, Rob has always been an elite defender for us. I mean, just ask Cassius Winston from Michigan State. He'll tell you about Rob's defending. But we continually shut down their better player and their better guard, at least. And that has everything to do with Rob, and equally everything to do with Armand, because Armand has held their better player, and a player that I believe scored 19 against us last year, Jamari Blackman, he had 18 minutes, he had 0 points, 0 for 4 for shooting, and 0 for 2 from 3. So amazing job by those guys, shutting those guys down. And so that's going to be very exciting to see. Io DeSumo, I'm looking at you. I can't wait to see that. Hopefully it doesn't light us up. But when we play against Illinois, look for Armand to be fired up and looking to shut him down. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Or Rob. Rob might be on him as well. So, again, that gets back to that I think this team is going to be very frustrating to opposing teams, because on the defensive end, we're doing a really great job at disrupting everything, staying with guys, talking, switching. We do a lot of switching this year, and I think that's our overall athleticism and movement. We're able to do that switching on defense. offense is coming around. Again, let's hopefully this is not an anomaly today. I hope let's not make this an anomaly. Let's continue this good shooting to go forward, because if that can happen, then coupled with that defense, that's Hoosiers are looking pretty good this year. We could surprise a few things if we can continue to get some constant shooting like this, constant threat. It's gonna open up so much more activity for this team. Just that one thing. And Archie Miller said in the post-game show, it was about getting those rhythm looks and those rhythm shots, and we did. And the best thing was too, that was my other dream and hope going into this game, was that we would get Anthony Leal got extended minutes. He ended up with 14 minutes, and he finally got a good look in rhythm kicked to him. I think a little drive to about the free throw line and then kicked out to him, and he hit it in rhythm. And that's great. That's great for his confidence and good for the team. I want to see more plays like that run for him when he gets in there. Keeping him as a threat, keeping teams having to play him honest is going to be great. And again, looking at the minutes distributed throughout, almost every player that played double-digit minutes. The least amount of minutes in the double digits was Anthony Leal with 14. And I'm honestly surprised by that, because my eye test, I had him in a lot longer than that, and he only got 14 minutes. And then obviously the bench guys like Childress, Bybee, and Chip got a few minutes there at the end to kind of come in. But the stats, again, overall look very good. Hopefully the second half stats can be more of the constant for the team. There was a little bit of time in the end where we had that crazy lineups. We let the freshmen play a little bit longer, and we've got the bench guys some minutes. So obviously the stats are going to be a little worse because of that. But I mean, the big one obviously is overall being 13 for 33 from three. If you asked anyone a couple games ago that we could have a game and shoot that, you'd be surprised, especially in a half that this team would shoot 45. It was always capable, and the team was always there and able to do something like that. But we didn't know if we would see it from this team, and we got a glimpse of it. Now let's continue. Let's build on that. So yeah, ending the day shooting 50% from the field, improved from the first half to the second half from 46% to 53%, and then continued in the 3-point shooting. We did a lot better with starting shooting 30% in the first half, and then shot 45% in the second half. Free throws, were a little scrummy. We weren't as good with that. Rob looked a little off in the first half. His shots were going short. I think he even airballed a free throw. So not the greatest day for him to begin, but he kind of finished a little bit stronger. The big guys, I mean, obviously the big storyline is going to be the shooting and our guard play. But the big guys finished having a decent game. Trace with 15, Race with 8. We got 7 rebounds and 5 rebounds between them. So yeah, a good outing for those guys. But again, it was about it was in a game that we knew we could win. It was about getting more reps for those guards, getting that shooting confidence up, getting the rhythm going for them. So yeah, let's keep that going. Let's keep moving in that direction for this team. So next up, as I said, is Butler. It's going to be Saturday at 11:30. Hopefully it happens. Butler's struggling right now with some COVID issues, so that's got me a little bit worried. But hopefully they can get things together and this game can happen. So we have good football and basketball this coming weekend to watch. Friday night, we get to see the Bucket game again. To speak on that, just a little disappointed. Obviously excited that the Bucket game gets to continue on, but a little disappointed because that game's not going to do a thing for IU's resume moving forward. But good to get that game in. We'll see if that happens. They're still struggling with COVID things as well. But moving back to basketball, obviously we got the Butler game going, and then we get right into Big Ten. schedule. So, and it's a tough Big Ten schedule. We've got one of the hardest Big Ten schedules, I think, over Ken Palm overall. Let me look it up right now, see how we changed from last night's game. We're at 21 in Ken Palm, but just a reminder that we have the 24th, at least in Ken Palm strength of schedule, hardest schedule. So we've got a tough schedule this year, and hopefully the guys we can stay strong. We can keep going on defense the way we are, because defense is going to be a very important thing for this team. Archie even during the post-game show, when they mentioned that we just had Butler in the Big Ten season left, let out a kind of guttural ugh kind of thing, like, don't remind me, because here we go right into it. That's the state of this season, the state of this year, is that as coach kind of reading into that grunt, is that he obviously doesn't feel like he had those games that you normally have as a coach to kind of get a young team like we have get their footing, let Christian Lander get more of those games like North Alabama to get his confidence up, get the shooters' confidence up, and get going. We just got to get right into it. Luckily, everyone else is on that playing field. Although a few other teams probably got a few easier games than we did because we played in Maui. But I do like that we had that competition and those resume builders, because, again, going into this season, who knows how many games we'll play, what difficulties and cancellations we'll run into throughout the season. So we'll have to see what comes from this. So, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Hoosier Morning After. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There you can watch live every morning after the game. If you miss the live show, you can watch the replay or listen wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on Twitter at General Chadwick. It's like right there on your screen, where you can find out announcements about the show and ask questions that I will try to answer for you live here on the show. A special thanks to fellow Bloomington South grad and an old neighbor of mine, Bob Thompson, for producing the great music you hear on the show. I will see you next time, the morning after the game. Until then, have a wonderful day, and go Hoosiers.